Okay, go
No.
and do it. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Silver Screen podcast. We have missed you, but we are officially back. If you've been on our social medias or if you're just joining us, you'll know that you can see on the screen we are here to discuss the Academy Award nominations, which were just announced today for the 95th Academy Awards. Can you believe it has been 95 years? Yes, I can. It feels like I've been alive that long. 2020, I think, was like 40 years long, but never mind. Before we go any further, I just want to introduce my panel of inverted commas experts who are here to talk about the nominations, give us our own sort of thoughts, predictions, and picks that we would make. So first of all, as you can see on the screen, I'm joined by Will Templar, regular guest to the podcast.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. Oh yeah.
No problem. Sorry, apologies if there's some slight delay with Will. We're working with stone knives and bear skins, shall we say, to get him on this. But we know this is no one's him on. And we're also joined by another frequent returning guest, Toby, aka Dark Sonic. Welcome, Toby.
Hi. How are you all?
Hi. Awesome. And we're also joined by Jamie, aka Mario Bowser 494. I want to say, I keep forgetting the number. Hi, Jamie. See, well remembered, you see. So yeah, I think we've none of us have seen all of the nominated films, but we've seen a few of them between us, except Jamie, who's here to just basically make up the numbers and give the perspective of somebody who I think has seen 2 movies that were nominated out of the 45, I think, total that were.
Yeah, basically, I don't tend to watch new movies for like a variety of reasons. Like, one, I just don't like going to cinemas much unless it's a film I really, really want to see. And 2, it's like I just like seeing older movies and waiting for the hype to die down. So I'll see these movies at some point this year, but you know, in total, I've seen 2 movies which had nominations: The Batman and Turning Red, and that's it.
And in fairness, there are some of the movies that were nominated, and a lot of the more popular ones as well that haven't come out in this country yet. Speaking of the UK here, which I shouldn't really say that because obviously we have Germany here as well, represented by Toby. But yeah, so there's films that haven't come out. I know here for definite, like The Fabelmans and The Whale haven't come out, but I will be seeing them both when
Puss
they do.
in Boots 2.
Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, of course. Yeah, is mid-February.
Such good reviews as well. Yeah.
I don't like going to cinemas, but I'm making an exception for this film.
That is going to be Jamie's, what do you call it, Oppenheimer. He's going to go to make a trip to IMAX just to watch Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Yes. This is good. I'm going to treat this movie like The Rise of Gru, except I'm going to be a bit more professional in the theatre.
Oh, please promise me you're going to go dressed in a full business suit. Just full on suit and cat ears. That would be lovely.
Oh yes, a hat, big boots, and a cape. There you go.
Yes, awesome. Well, yeah, before we get into the Oscar stuff, I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes and just briefly tell everybody what the state of play is with regards to the podcast channels, because obviously we've been away for a little while. But don't panic, everything was more or less planned. We had sort of scheduled in that myself and DK were going to have at least a month's worth of break over January, which is almost over. But we will be back. Don't worry. It's just that there's been, I don't want to betray any privacies or anything, but there's been a few incidents from a couple of our sort of behind-the-scenes staff and hosts, which are going to prevent things from being quite as smooth as we'd like. But don't worry, even though I'm a one-man show at the moment, hopefully that won't be the case for very much longer. And we'll be able to do something. I have actually contacted plenty of guests for both this and the Hit or Miss Star Trek podcast, and we have guests. So even if it's just me and a guest, we will be here. But it will be another little bit of a wait. Unfortunately, I think we begin actually airing new episodes of this Silver Screen podcast. Our first new episode airs on March the 9th, and that will be a review of Scream 2022 or Scream 5. Our first Star Trek episode is scheduled for February the 26th, and that will be, we're reviewing the Star Trek Picard episode Assimilation with the guest Jordan LaForden. And I should say the guest on the Scream episode is going to be Connor Esser from Pasty Sheep podcast. I almost forgot that. From Nerd Bible, I should say, Pasty Sheep. So, yeah. Unfortunately, there is going to be a little bit of a wait, another month almost, but that's just while I'm trying to get everything together and we're still waiting for, things to calm down and to ease up a little bit with others. But, fingers crossed, we'll hopefully get there. And in the meantime, you can always check out, because I'm using this opportunity to do some research for the podcast, so you can check out my Letterboxd and see all of the film reviews of new stuff that I'm seeing, or things that I'm watching for the first time. And I'm working my way through
with
all
the menu, Michael. I'm fuming with the menu. Theo messaged me on Snapchat and it was like, bro, I'm about to go to war with Michael on Letterboxd. I was like, oh god, I gotta watch this.
I just didn't get the film The Menu. I'm sorry. Well, look, come on. How many Oscar nominations does that film have? 0. So come on.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Exactly, yeah. But I am also working, as I said, my way through all of the James Bond movies, ready for our next top 10 episode, which will be the top 10 James Bond movies, which is going to be a bumper one. I've already got, I think, 5 people who want to be on it. So it could be, at the moment, I think I've got down myself, possibly DK and Will, Andy and Jamie will all be here to discuss our best Bond movies. That won't be until April the 20th, but I'm doing the research. I'm rewatching them all so I can officially rank them. So you won't see any full reviews on Letterboxd, but if you want to quickly sort of get ahead of the game and see
hot take said, yeah. You're doing
no, what's
well with it. There's no hot take so far with those scores, by the way.
Yeah, you weren't super fond of my you weren't super fond of my score from Russia with Love, but that was about the only one I think that you were like a bit iffy with.
I mean, I'm not a fan of that score either.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's for another time. That's a different discussion. So, first of all, we're here obviously to talk about the Oscar nominations. Just before we get into the sort of category by category breakdown, does anybody have any overall thoughts or any kind of snubs or surprises that you wanted to talk about from this nominations?
I mean, I'm just saying that I just want to get right off the bat that I don't actually watch the Oscars for the sake of what I think each film will be the best one. To be honest, I watch the Oscars as a hate watch because I know they're so bad.
Okay. Well, normally I would agree with you. This is the first year in a while that I'm actually like, hey, I've actually seen some of these films, and they're not just the most obscure or the most like we are pals with the director type stuff. Which is right.
But I mean, like the actual show itself is just terrible. Like, I mean, just look at last year's. I mean, do I need to bring up the "We Don't Talk About Bruno" sing along, which was god awful.
I mean, I haven't watched the ceremony. Is the middle of the night for us anyway, so that doesn't help. But I haven't watched it for years.
But yeah, what I mean is like I watched the nominations to prepare myself for the ceremony, and I watched the ceremony as a hate watch.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I just think it's funny.
I just came to watch it actually won in clips.
I never watch it because honestly, I don't care.
Fair enough.
Like,
yeah, I just watched
the next day. I just look at my phone, see, oh, these are the people who won. Nice. Yeah. Moving on.
Wow. Well, Toby, you're gonna be fun to discuss this with today. Okay.
I mean, it's fun to discuss who will win, but I actually don't care enough to watch the ceremony live and just.
I see what you're saying. I
want to know about
who wins. It should improve the ceremony. It's more about that I don't stay up till the middle of the night and watch it, and I just watch But I am interested in the actual results and the speeches and things that you tend to see the next day. Like I said, it's ridiculous because it is about, I think, 4 or 5 a.m. by the time, in the UK at least, by the time it starts airing, and I'm not staying up till then and then waiting 2 hours of trudging through 2 hours of a crap ceremony for just a few names and speeches. So, anyway.
I'd say overall, like, in terms of the main awards, the ones I most care about probably Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Picture, obviously, and Best Animated Feature.
Okay. Yeah. It's fair enough. Yeah, there's some that I'll briefly discuss at the end of the stream, but if you're here to get our thoughts on sort of like best documentary and best short and stuff, you're in the wrong place because none of us have seen any of them. I can pretty much guarantee you now. But we will. I will.
I mean, I can make one comment about the.
Phone's on, so I might drop out at one point for like 10 minutes, just while it's charging.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, if Will drops out, everyone don't panic. He'll be back. So yeah, go for it, Jamie.
But I say if I can make one comment about the short films, the animated short film had some cracking titles like My Year of Dicks and An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake and I Think I Believe It.
Yes, I love the title of that last one. An ostrich told me the world was fake. I think I believe it. I want that to win just for the title. Just because the title's brilliant. I mean, the sheer smut level of My Year of Dicks. All right, fair enough. It's kind of amusing in that schoolboy snickery way, but no, that other one. Maybe the world is fake and we should all believe it. But yeah, that's going to be a worthy winner just for the title.
Probably just because of the title, gonna watch it someday. It's a short film. It's not gonna take over my whole day.
We should probably hunt them out and watch the shorts and things, but I haven't really even heard that much of any of them. But again, I'll get to them at the end. I think
I've seen any of them.
I watched the boy, the mouse, the mole, and the fox, whatever it was called. There's too many animals in that one, but because the British Christmas animation is I usually check them out.
I see. That's what that was. I didn't touch that, unfortunately. Oh well. So I tell you what, we'll start then going through these things piece by piece, and if I can just find the right thing to pop up. Why don't we start with one of the more technical ones? We'll begin with visual effects. So the nominees for visual effects are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and Top Gun: Maverick. So there we go. They're on the screen there now. So out of those, I'll come to you one by one. Will, since you're about to potentially just drop out for us, what do you think about these, and what would you pick, and what do you think the Academy will pick for the visual effects?
You're gonna have to remind me what I said in the Discord message earlier.
I wouldn't hold you to it, to be perfectly honest. I can't remember now. Will you actually give us pick? I'll go.
Yeah, I gave my picks in advance and I gave him a whole list of set what I would want to win.
So we're looking for visual effects, is that right?
And to be honest, that picture is so small on this phone, I can barely see it.
That's fair enough.
I chose the Batman.
You did. You chose the Batman, but said it was a really tough category to call, and that would be your pick. You didn't tell me what you thought the Academy would actually go for, though, for your prediction.
I think it'll be between the Batman or Top Gun Maverick. With Wakanda Forever, of course, the new Black Panther installment, I think that's the best looking Marvel film in a long, long time. However, I think it's like a rarity for Marvel to be like nominated for the Oscars anyway. So for it to actually win, that would be pretty surprising. I'm sure Michael will be able to fill in any blanks. Like, he'll say no, Marvel was be nominated for this, and that. And then I'll be like, okay, Michael, but how many times have they won?
They've been nominated for technical awards, but not very many big ones.
Have you guys ever seen How It Should Have Ended? Because every year they always get like Marvel characters to like talk about oh my goodness, our movie hasn't been nominated for best picture, and they just go through all the best pictures thing like we have what this movie has, and then at the end it's always like, hey, we've been nominated for an Academy Award, we get best visual effects. Oh, we always get that one.
Yeah, I love How It Should Have Ended. They're good. They're funny. They're a good YouTube channel. But yeah, I mean, Marvel hasn't had a lot of success, but there is one coming up, which is the first sort of nomination in one of the big categories for a Marvel movie that we'll get to. But yeah,
of course,
I think
but I don't think it'll win for that one, and I don't think it particularly warrants it, especially with the Batman there, of course. But I was thinking as well, it could be Top Gun Maverick. But then again, a lot of the aerial sequences were actually shot and not so much visual effects. So I thought, okay, the most impressive parts of that film was actually, practical and stuff like that. So it's like maybe not the right category for Top Gun Maverick. So then I thought, what were the other ones? Well, Avatar: The Way of Water, obviously very visually impressive, but I've never seen it, so I can't actually say, wow, it deserves best visual effects. And what's the other one? All Quiet on the Western Front. I've seen this film, as has Toby. Michael hasn't, of course, Jamie hasn't. And, it's bad to say because I have chose All Quiet on the Western Front to win some other categories to say that I can't quite remember the visual effects of that film. However, I remember there being two very distinctively memorable scenes in that film, and one of them I don't think included much visual effects. So for me to say it's the best film from that standpoint would just be untrue. So I had to go for the Batman purely because of the scene towards the end where the barriers have exploded and the water rushes in, I think that looks so sublime. And then, of course, the best scene in the entire film, the car chase sequence of Penguin and the Batman. I think that was just sublime, and it deserves the Oscar for that alone, in my opinion. And there were some at university. We have some like technical deep dives. We have like these guest speakers, and I think someone that worked on the Batman came in and showed us like a deconstruction of that scene, and it was just so exceptional. And if you've seen that film, you cannot deny that scene is just epic, and I think it deserves the Oscar for that alone. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough. So Toby, we'll come
That's
to you
my
next.
choice.
What are your thoughts on these, and what is your pick, and what do you think the Academy will go for?
Yeah, out of these movies, the only thing I didn't watch is Top Gun Maverick, so I can't say about that. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, we already talked about this in the year-end thing of me not watching this movie ever because I'm stubborn and it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
The other four. I think All Quiet on the Western Front will probably win a couple of technical categories, but not this one. I don't think it's the one for it to win. I think
agree
they're
with
going
you
to
on
give
that.
them. I think they're going to give this movie a couple wins. I mean,
Which it deserves.
they usually give like one win to a foreign film somewhere else. I think very often, just as a little.
I had
I
no
think
idea that it was a German film. I was surprised. I didn't realize it was German. No.
it is. But I don't think this is the category for it to win. Avatar: The Way of Water, I think, looks really great, but also I feel like in a lot of ways kind of similar to the first Avatar, so I don't want it to win just because of that.
James Cameron, I hate you for that. Hundreds of millions of pounds put into that set.
All that water.
Like Black Panther Wakanda
All the new
Forever
systems were built.
is probably the best looking Marvel movie in a while, and it definitely deserved the nomination, but also don't think it's gonna win. I think I would personally choose the Batman because I think it's not only really, really good looking, but also I think very uniquely looking. And that's also, I think, is important for me when I judge visual effects. It should also look very unique. What do I think the Academy would choose? Probably Avatar.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, awesome. Jamie, what about you then? Your thoughts and your pick for what you would like to win and what you think will win?
Well, I've actually seen the Batman, and I can say that I don't think it would win the best visual effects, because the thing is, when I think of like the good parts of the Batman, I think of just generally the direction and the cinematography. I don't really think of the visual effects. Like that doesn't really come to my mind as much as the detective noir style of the whole film.
I think if it's going to get a technical award, it's more likely to be like makeup. If you look at what they did with Colin Farrell to turn him into Penguin, that's going to be what would tip it over. But yeah, I don't really see it as a visual effects heavy movie.
Yeah, did they get nominated for cinematography or not?
Oh, I can't remember.
No,
we'll get to it.
They did not.
We'll get onto it.
Okay.
It deserved best cinematography more than best visual effects, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree.
As for the rest, from my limited understanding, I would have eaten my sock if Avatar: Way of Water wasn't nominated, because the Avatar movies exist as CGI demonstrations first and movies second, and that's probably going to be the one which wins as well. So yeah.
Well, I'm kind of. Well, I think the Academy will, just like you guys, go with Avatar: The Way of Water because they're just bound to. Cameron worked on it for 10 years and came up with all these new things and everything, and water effects and all that. Great, yay! I wasn't a fan of that movie. If anybody's wondering why I don't seem that enthused, but personally,
I didn't like the first movie, so I'm not bothering with the second.
Well, I can't blame you. Yeah, but anyway, my personal pick, I would have went with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, probably surprising nobody, but I do genuinely think it has, in terms of visual effects, I think for me it actually had more effective, or at least more impactful underwater scenes and kind of water effects and fights on the water than Avatar: The Way of Water did, and I think that's really difficult to pull off with visual effects. Plus you couple that with the sort of CGI of the Ironheart armor or the various Black Panthers and assistants and things, and it was, it's flawless and it looked amazing. And considering some of the things that Marvel put out last year, looking at you, She-Hulk, I think the special effects were probably, you can see where the work did go in. So yeah, that's what I would have gone with. But again, that's only me, and we think the Academy will pick Avatar, but we seem to be in agreement of sorts. We have a sort of what's the word I'm looking for? A majority winner here, because 2 of us picked the Batman. So overall, we're going to say we'd probably go with the Batman, because 2 out of 4.
Yeah, might as well.
Would be interesting to see if Black Panther wins. It would be the first Marvel movie to win. Actually, visual effects.
I think the first Black Panther won like costume and hairstyling or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, for visual effects specifically.
Visual effect.
Just like the first Black Panther didn't win Best Visual Effects. Look, I like that movie, but the CGI in that movie isn't very good.
Yeah. The CGI in the end fight in particular is not up to scratch. I'll give you that. So we've talked, since I briefly mentioned it and I'm coming to it, why don't we come to this one next? Best costume design. Ooh. So the nominees for that one are Babylon, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Full disclaimer, I have literally seen 2 of these 5. So so we'll see how many the rest of us have seen and what we think. Will, why we're going to come to you first? Why not? Do you want me to go through them again? Oh, hang on, I can tell you what you picked already, Connor. So I'll have it written here. So for costume design, you went with Elvis, which doesn't surprise me that much. But what was your reasoning for that? And who do you think the Academy will pick?
To be fair, that surprised me.
It makes sense.
Why though? Like the 3 films that I've seen there, like Black Panther, Elvis, and Everything Everywhere, I think all have like sublime costumes, and all 3 have merit to win this. But for Elvis, it was purely down to the research that I did during, again, it's a university project, and somebody else made a Elvis costume, and in her presentation, she went into great detail about the costume designing of the film. And the processes they went through, and down to the very same fabrics, down to the very same stitching patterns and stitching stuff that they went into for Elvis, the film. Like, you can't ignore the historical accuracy that they, did for that film. And I think, it's a biopic, so you're going to have that. And I think they deserve the plaudits for that, and they deserve the Oscar. Of course, the costumes for Black Panther is like impressive, but the attention to detail for Elvis, second to none.
Yeah, I think Elvis, if I'm not mistaken, is the only sort of straight biopic out of these as well. So it's the only one where it actually has a frame of reference that it has to live up to. People know the iconic costumes and stuff, and it has to recreate an era that actually existed and people lived through. So I can see that.
Even though it's got something in the 21st century in there.
Yes, Elvis Presley. He was around in the 1950s. There are definitely some people alive who saw like Elvis live and can, like spot any imperfections.
Yeah, definitely. So, do you think that's what the Academy will go for then, Will?
Let me have a look. I think it's a toss-up between Elvis and Everything Everywhere All at Once, just because Everything Everywhere All at Once had so many costumes because of its, ambition as, a crazy multiverse film. Yeah. And I think because of its intense popularity, it might win because of that. Does it deserve it? Probably not. I would go between Elvis or Black Panther, honestly. Like, as a personal choice, but I think they could go for Everything Everywhere, the Academy, to win. But I don't agree.
Yeah, I think they could get carried away on wanting like Everything Everywhere to get a certain number of awards, and so it might end up getting loads because they want that to be the headline of like, oh, it's swept the board with every one of the 9 awards it was nominated or whatever. Don't think it necessarily deserves it, but yeah, I'll give mine later. So Toby, what about you? What are your thoughts? What would you pick, and what do you think they'll pick?
Yeah, personally, I would choose Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The costumes are just insanely gorgeous. I love them all so much. In the first Black Panther as well, and it really deserved to win that in I don't know in what year it was back then. But I don't think it's the one the Academy is going for, just because the first Black Panther won this category as well, and I don't think the Academy wants to do it again, especially because we have such strong contenders with Elvis in this category.
I agree.
And that's what I think will probably win. Maybe Everything Everywhere All at Once, as you said, because they would just want to push this movie. But the costumes weren't bad, but they were practical for the movie. But there's nothing. When I think of Everything Everywhere All at Once, I don't think about the costumes at all.
Yeah,
it's not the thing where I say it's exceptional in it. They're good. They're great. They're practical. They do everything they need to do. But it's not
exactly. Yeah.
insanely exceptional like Elvis or Black Panther Wakanda Forever, in my opinion.
To be fair, none of us are Asian either, so we can't say if it's like culturally a good job on the costumes or anything because wouldn't know. So what about you, Jamie? What would you think about this?
I should probably just say right now that for a lot of the the popular films, I have seen like clips and trailers and stuff, which I think I just want to get because that does mean that I do have like for awards like costume design, I have more of a way of being able to tell whether it's worthy or not because I've actually got a visual reference. But with costume design, I think I'm probably going to go with Elvis as the one I want to win because like I said, I think trying to recreate something in real life is a lot more impressive than just going from scratch. I think, and the meticulous detail of trying to get it accurate to as I said, people were around when Elvis was around, so they can not spot any imperfections. Trying to get it exactly right is always impressive, and I just the accuracy is impressive. I just think the costumes for Elvis were really strong, and I'd probably also say that Elvis is probably the one which would win the say either that or Wakanda Forever.
Okay. I think you're all sleeping on Babylon, personally. That is the one I think the Academy will go for because well, it's not out yet. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the trailers and I've seen clips and images. And well, first of all, the Academy loves Damien Chazelle, and they love anything about old Hollywood, which is what the film's about. And that coupled with the fact that some of the costume designs look like really outrageous and colorful and bright, I think that is the one that the Academy will end up going with, and it's probably the one I would pick. But I do think it's very close between that and Elvis.
It's hard to say
in terms of what the
film,
Academy
isn't it?
It is very hard to say, and I haven't seen either of those, but based on the visuals I've seen from those two films, I do think Babylon and Elvis are what it's between. But in fairness, I know less than zero about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It could sweep it, and I wouldn't know.
I just looked at it on Letterboxd. It looks I can see why it was nominated for costume. It's got some nice dresses, but
I had a look at the poster. It looked like it's nice, I guess, but yeah. So looks like the agreement for us here then is that we all would say and think that Elvis will get costume design. So thank you very much, everyone, for making that choice. That was a terrible bullet, wasn't it? So let me see what
Let's
we
keep
can
it rolling,
do. Well, actually,
me and you versus the world.
yeah.
So I tell you what, why don't we throw it open to you guys to start picking? So Will, what category would you like us to talk about next?
Should we do the big one, Best Actor?
Ooh.
Yeah, we can do. We can start the big ones. So
Can we do Best Actress right afterwards? Because I never liked the fact I've never liked how they split actor and actress.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
And not to mention, there's not a category for a non-binary performance.
Did you hear?
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, like some music award in the UK abolished gender categories and just nominated all male people. Applause for that.
Well, it didn't do that because Adele won.
No, the year afterwards.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
It's just like I can understand splitting gender for sports because it's just a fact of life that men are just generally stronger than women. That's just a fact of life. You can't change that. But with acting, there's no difference between gender, so why split it? It just feels patronizing.
Because otherwise, we would maybe have 4 actors and 1 actress nominated in the end.
That is true. But, yeah.
I always say, here's the solution: up the best actor to 10 nominees, and the requirement is that 5 have to be male and 5 have to be female, but they compete in the same award. Boom, problem solved.
Again, what do you do about non-binary performances?
Good point. I mean,
yeah. See, I look at it as there's not a separate category for best female director and best male director, and it's the same.
I do think that best actor should be split, but just not by gender. Like the fact that best voice actor is in a category is shocking, or stunt performer.
you could do what's done in some ceremonies and break it as like best comedic performance, best dramatic performance, because
I think
you
this
know
would
that's
work
going to be a
better.
lot fairer anyway. Yeah. But anyway, we're not here to redo the Academy Awards. We're here to tell you the nominations for actor in a leading role this year, as Will picked, and they are Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nye for Living. So, Will, you picked. You're going first. Let's see what you said. In a leading role, you said you would have went with Austin Butler for Elvis. So, explain yourself, and do
It's
you think
really
that will
boring now that
ultimately
I
be the
just
winner?
said Elvis should win. Now I'm saying Austin Butler should win for the fucking Elvis film again. Oh, okay, I shouldn't have chosen
Language.
that. Right, out of these films I've seen, Colin Farrell in the Irish film, Bill Nye in Living, and of course Austin Butler in Elvis. I was really impressed with Living, that more so because of just the general writing and editing. I just thought that was so sublime. Like the acting, of course, Bill Nye, Mr. Dependable. You're not going to get a bad performance from him, but again, it's a case of the dedication that goes into the craft. And I think I read that Austin read every single, obviously not every single book, but like a lot of books about Elvis. Like watched every single video of him in the archives, read like interviews and watched interviews, picked up the mannerisms, and method acting is probably not the right word or like the right phrase
Wow.
to describe him with Elvis, but just the general dedication he put in for that role, which I don't believe any of the others would have done. I think again he deserves the plaudits for that. So I'd go for Austin Butler, and I think he will win. Potentially Brendan Fraser as well in The Whale. I know he's intensely popular right now, so I think they could go for him. So
Yes.
I think it's between Butler and Fraser, but again, I haven't seen The Whale, so I have no clue. Oh, the ones I've seen, definitely Austin Butler.
Weirdly enough, that's exactly the two that I would say it's between as well. But again, we haven't seen The Whale because it's not out here yet. I'm going in a couple of days to see it, so I can report back about it then. But Toby, what are your thoughts? Have you seen these? What do you think will happen?
I have seen none of these, so
okay,
it's going to be nice.
Welcome to the club.
I think the last two are Paul Mescal and Bill Nye are probably out. I have never heard of After Sun. What is this?
No, I haven't heard of Living, and I'm pleased to know that Will's seen it because I've never heard of it.
I've never seen.
I have
heard
of Living, but I have never heard of After.
I feel bad because it feels like that's probably one of the only sort of, judging by the name, non sort of straight white performances that are on here. But yeah,
I don't think these two are big enough to be best actor.
No,
I feel like there needs to be at least a little bit of.
Living is worth a watch, by the
it,
way. It is a good
it's
film.
not.
You'd enjoy it, man.
I probably would. It's just I didn't know about it. I will get to it though.
Between the other three, I think I agree. I think it's between Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser. I'm not sure how much the hype for Brendan Fraser is made online versus offline.
I think that's the thing. I think it's one of those situations where the early buzz will point to Brendan Fraser, and then it'll be a shock when it doesn't happen, because that's always the way. There's always like a front runner that ends up not eventually winning it. Plus, there's some controversy around like why didn't they pick an actual overweight person and put him in a fat suit and stuff. So I don't think that'll help.
I don't think the Academy really cares about it.
Well, yeah.
It's the Academy we're talking about, so I don't think that will matter at all. But I'm not sure how much the hype for him is made online, how much it actually is in Hollywood. So I would probably choose Austin Butler for Elvis.
Okay, and what about you, Liam? I'm assuming you probably haven't seen these. But,
Liam?
No, not Liam. Jamie, sorry.
Oh, no,
right. So
Liam was gonna be here. That's the thing. Sorry, Jamie. Sorry.
I'd say that I probably agree with you guys. I'd say probably the one I think will one which I think should probably win is probably Austin Butler as Elvis, purely because as I've said with the costume, it's like trying to recreate something in real life is a lot harder to get right than doing something purely fictional, and I think that just like enhances the experience. So like Austin Butler giving, like, from what I can tell, is quite an authentic performance of Elvis is just a good experience, and just is a well done performance at the end of the day. But from what I can tell, Colin Farrell and Brendan Fraser did good jobs as well. But the real question is, like, which one will win? Which one will actually win the Oscar? If any of these actors are below the age of 45, they ain't winning.
Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but I can tell you that Bill Nye's probably the oldest person out of the 5, most likely. So,
but no, there is direct evidence that the Oscars don't nominate people unless they're over 45. I mean, most obvious example, Leo DiCaprio. He didn't win till he was at that age with The Revenant or whatever, 40 to 45, something like that.
But
I think there's a lot of them that thinks like they can wait. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah, The Revenant is apparently a good film. I have it to watch, and I will get to it. But yeah, Sorry about that overlap, everyone. But
yeah, I'd say Austin Butler as Elvis is probably my pick, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was the one which won as well.
I think the fact that Austin Butler has just turned into Elvis, like now psychologists are genuinely weighing in about how he can't turn it off, like his voice has changed and everything. He's gone so far into the role, so I can see that winning as well. I completely agree. I can imagine that the Brendan Fraser performance is going to be great, but I'll report back about it and how tactful it is when I've seen the movie. I think personally, I would love to see Colin Farrell win. I think that's the most deserving. Mainly because it's the only one of the 5 I've seen, but no, not mainly. I do genuinely, as I can attest, as I wrote in my Letterboxd review, I think his and Kerry Condon's performances were absolutely outstanding, and I would love to see it rewarded because I think it was, I think it was really good. So that's what I would go with. But it seems like we are all basically in agreement, majority-wise, that Austin Butler is going to take this for Elvis. So we shall see if the Academy agrees. I think we might have called that one right, personally, as to what they'll go with. So there we go. All right, Toby, what category would you like us to talk about next?
I'm gonna be nice and say Best Actress because I don't know who, but I was suggested it to do next.
Yeah, I completely forgot Jamie had asked about that, so I'm glad you said that because I was like, oh, maybe we do Best Actress first. Let me just find if I can get the graphic up here. See, this is the problem when you're trying to screen share it for everyone as well. And there's like 24 categories, which doesn't help.
I mean, we're probably not going to go into like documentaries and short films. So it's more like 20.
No,
20,
I mean, I'll read out what the nominations are. If anybody's curious, though, they're out there. You can find them if you want. If we don't get to it, but so actress in a leading role. Here we go. The nominees are Kate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Will, you know the drill. You said for actress in a leading role you would pick Michelle Yeoh. I can't see. I'm surprised. Oh, he's not here. He's gone. He's dropped out. So
I'm checking Discord.
He did say he might disappear, but he'll plug it back in and rejoin us. But he did go with Michelle Yeoh. I'll ask him why if and when he comes back on. So Toby, what about you? Who would you go with, and who do you think will win this?
I mean, best actors. There are 2 very clear people who are in the front running: Kate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. Like the others don't stand a chance. I would be really surprised if any of the others win.
I would say there's only one that doesn't stand a chance out of the 5, personally. But okay.
I think people are raving about the Tar.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. Yeah. I want to see it. I really want to see it. I've seen some scenes of it. It only comes out on February 23rd here, so it's going to take a while. But I've seen some scenes of it, and she's amazing. Yeah. But also Michelle Yeoh is amazing.
Yeah,
Everything Everywhere All at Once, and she really deserves to get an Oscar. She like if we say both of them are on equal footing, Michelle Yeoh just deserves it because she deserves it. Like she needs to have an Oscar. Like she needs to. She just.
So if you would pick Michelle Yeoh, do you think that's what the Academy will actually go with, though?
I think the Academy will go with it because I think if they don't, they will receive a lot of hate.
Yeah.
Like in the other categories, I think they can get more away with letting the white person win. Let's just say that. But in Best Actress, I don't think. Like if Michelle Yeoh doesn't win, I think there is gonna be hell.
Yeah, that's fair enough. What about you then, Jamie? Would you agree with Toby?
I am going to act as the mouthpiece for one of my friends because they're a big Everything Everywhere All at Once fan. Like, is the favorite new movie they saw last year, one of their favorite movies. So
it did lead the nominations.
They're basically like on their knees begging that Michelle wins because
Michelle Yeoh.
But out of all these, I mean, I think the Academy just. The Academy. Let's be real. The Academy votes for whatever's trendy to vote for. It's trendy to vote for Michelle Yeoh. It wouldn't make much sense if they voted for literally anyone else.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Like from a business standpoint, not in a entertainment standpoint, because the Oscars don't really care about entertainment and quality and stuff. They just care about trendy. Like, I mean, that's the reason they have Ana de Armas. They don't care about the quality of the film. They just if people are talking about the film.
No, but in fairness, Ana de Armas is a very good actress in other things. So,
I don't really care how good a performance was. Blonde, I refuse to watch that film.
I saw scenes and I was disturbed and no.
Especially now that I've seen the Monroe film, I definitely don't want to watch it now because I like Monroe. She's good.
Oh yeah, same, and that's why I haven't watched it. Not least because it's just it purports to be semi-autobiographical. It's not remotely, and it's got stupid scenes that are there to shock value and everything. But regardless of that, I would like to see Ana de Armas win an Oscar someday for something because I think she's a very good actress. Just not for this. I've heard incredible things about Cate Blanchett's performance as Lydia Tarr, and I think that might pull off the upset for everyone. I can see that happening. Kind of hope it doesn't. Andrea Riseborough is from the same part of the world as me, so it would be nice just on that level for her to win. She's literally from northeast England. Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans, I'm assuming, is good, but we don't have a chance to see it because it's not out here till next week. But again, I'll let you know once I've seen it. But yes, I would also agree that I want Michelle Yeoh to win. Not even though the film itself didn't fully connect with me. It's not just because it's Michelle Yeoh and she deserves a career win. I think genuinely that was one of the best performances, not just of last year, but in like decades. It was a lead performance. So yeah, I would support Michelle Yeoh getting it. Sadly though, I can just because it's justified that she gets it, I can see it not happening, and I can see Cate Blanchett pulling off the upset and getting this. But yeah, hopefully not. And I would personally go Michelle Yeoh, which seems to be the consensus.
No, I agree. It's one of the best performances in decades. I agree with that. My thought process was just if we pretend they're 50-50, which some people do, then I think that Michelle Yeoh will still pull it off because she needs that career Oscar. I feel like based on that, she already has the edge.
I always feel like the Oscars should be used as like a way to reward new talent.
Yeah, maybe. See, I can just see I know the Academy don't like genre films and Everything Everywhere All at Once. I can see them looking at as kind of a sci-fi fantasy type thing and thinking they're more likely to go for Tar because it's very straight-laced and it's all about somebody, being a conductor in an orchestra and stuff, and that's more the sort of straight up posh people's film of choice. So
yeah, but it's like it would be. But like I said, the Oscars are about what's trendy to vote for, so it'd be stupid if Everything Everywhere All at Once doesn't win multiple
I think it'll win for other things. I can just see Michelle getting the snub there. That's what worries me because I can see it winning. I mean, all four of the actors in it are nominated for awards, and I don't think they're going to get all four. And I think that's one of the ones it'll miss out on, unfortunately.
Random question: was Michelle Yeoh? Did she win the Golden Globes?
I honestly don't know, dude.
Yes.
Thank you, Toby.
But because the Golden Globe split, she only won for musical or comedy, and Cate Blanchett won the drama. So
that is 50-50, you say?
Interesting.
That's why a lot of people are heading towards this duel between the two.
Yeah, I think Kate Blanchett is going to end up getting it off them. I don't think she should. Well, I'll say that I haven't seen the film, so I really shouldn't say that. But I just loved Michelle Yeoh's performance.
And honestly, in best performance, musical or comedy, but at Golden Globes, there was no way she was going to lose this. The nominees aren't like Margot Robbie in Babylon. She's not going to win. And what do we have? Anna Taylor-Joy in The Menu. No, she didn't win that, obviously. And the other two movies, Miss Harris Goes to Paris, yeah, obviously not. And good luck to you, Dio Grande, which is apparently a sex
comedy we haven't heard of any.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, she had that safe. That was very safe. But here it's a little bit more tricky.
Yeah, we'll see though. That's the one I think that will be the closest, but it's between those two. Although we say that, and then Michelle Williams, because she's sort of an Oscar darling, will probably end up coming in and swooping it in the end. I don't think so.
I think if Kate Blanchett wins, it's going to be hell, and if any of the other three wins, it's going to be very hell.
Yeah.
Like if Kate Blanchett wins, I can see at least a lot of more quote-unquote neutral film fans be like, oh no, I think she was just a little bit better. But like, there is no competition with the other three. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
I just want to put this out there as a PSA. If your favorite doesn't win, my God, it doesn't matter. The Oscars are just the Oscars. They're just a publicity stunt at the end of the day. It really doesn't matter.
No, and that's why I do like
talking contest by old rich white guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But no, this is why I like talking about the nominations, because it's nice to at least get the idea of what some films to see that are good without necessarily having to break it down to just the ones that are popular. And sometimes it can be literally they've ran a better campaign or somebody's friends with them. I mean, how the flip do you nominate Avatar 2 for Best Picture if it wasn't for the fact that, it's James Cameron and the Academy loves him? So, of course it did.
Yeah, that's the reason why it's like when I want to check out like good-looking animated films, I just check the whole all the films nominated instead of just the winners, because the winners are basically we didn't watch any of these movies, just give it to Disney.
Yeah, although sometimes the Disney one is the best, but I will agree with you on that. So
I had
Jamie,
a conspiracy theory that in the animation they just ask their kids what they liked and just pick those.
Oh, I hope not, because I know what I want to see win that, but we'll get to it.
Because Jamie, the nominees are sometimes really strange in animated features. Like there are movies nominated for animated features. Like really, The Boss Baby, really?
Well, yeah, that's true. But then again, I thought that about
Shaun the Sheep got nominated once.
Shaun the Sheep's probably very good.
Both movies got nominated, but both movies were nominated for Best Animated Feature.
Both Shaun the Sheep, well, yeah.
I mean, they're both great. I don't care, but
but like Academy Award.
Like I do think like Brad Bird made a good point. I think it was Brad Bird at least, but he's like about the 2015 or 2016 Oscars, where it's like we've got Shaun the Sheep nominated alongside Anomalisa, the Charlie Kaufman existential drama.
That's always the way, though. But like I said, one year Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won, and it genuinely should have probably got Best Actor nominations, or Best Picture nominations, I should say. Sorry. So according to
we're talking about animation. Should we just do the Best Animated Feature next?
Well, that's fair enough.
Okay, let's go.
Since we're on that, why not? Let's go.
No, this is short film. Is it?
Nominees for Best Animated Movie. I have got it in front of me. It's just getting it to actually.
I mean, I've got it all in my mind, so you don't even have to use it on there. This is the only ones that actually bother to memorize.
Well, fair enough. The nominees for Best Animated Feature Film are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. So, Jamie, since you picked the category, do you want to go first and tell us what your thoughts are on this one?
Right. Bear with me. I'm going to be talking for a bit. So, admittedly, the only one from these I've seen is Turning Red, and the only reason for that was just because I was doing a Pixar marathon last year. As for the other ones, Puss in Boots 2 isn't out yet in the UK. It's coming out in February, and that's really pissing me off. Del Toro's Pinocchio, I'm planning to watch with the family at some point later this year. And Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, I hadn't actually heard of until the Oscars. Then I checked on Letterboxd, and what do you know? It's got a 4.3 rating, so that's 100% going on the watch list. And the Sea Beast, I haven't heard of it. Looked up on Letterboxd, looks alright. Probably won't watch it. But as for just the general thing, in terms of how I'm passionate about animation, so I'd say the three on the left are like any of them winning, I think would be a good thing. First off, no win for Disney. I don't care how good the movies are. I don't want Disney to win anymore because I'm just sick of them winning every single time.
They own everything, so they're going to win anyway.
It's like Encanto was my favorite animated movie from last year, and I was actively rooting against it. I wanted Mitchell's vs. the Machines to win instead, just because I'm so sick of Disney winning everything. But it's like I don't think Turning Red has a chance against these really popular films. Even then, just putting aside like that, I literally cheered when like something like Lightyear and Strange World weren't nominated. It's like,
no,
yes!
Of course they weren't, because they're terrible. That's what the thing.
Exactly.
Disney shot themselves in the foot by putting out bad movies last year.
Exactly.
Turning Red only got a nomination because I think it's like, well, it's the best of what they've got, I guess.
But it's like
it isn't horrible. It's not.
It's like I think it's fair to say that Puss in Boots 2 is the clear favorite to win, like based on like online talking. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the one which ends up getting the win. Which got no problem of. It looks awesome from what I've seen, and it's got good reviews. And it would be nice for DreamWorks to get another win because they haven't won anything since because of the Were Rabbit. Even that was an Aardman film. So like on their own, they haven't won since Shrek, which was the very first one. So they're overdue another win. Marcel the Show Shoes on. If that wins, that'll be good. Indie representation.
I want to see it get released in other countries. Like the Americans have been raving about it, and it's been out there since like last March or something, and it just hasn't even come to this country yet. It's like we don't get it because it's just like, oh well, you don't know it, and you don't know the YouTube shorts that it's based on or the books. Because I know that it's like a Jenny Slate passion project with her ex-boyfriend, and I know everything about it, and I've heard so many Americans rave about it. And I really, really, really want to see it because I've heard such amazing things from people about it, but it's just impossible to find it. I'm not going to pirate it, and yet, like I said, it didn't come to cinemas. It's not available to buy anywhere or to even Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's constantly being plugged now. When you go online as being on Google Play, you can at least legally rent and watch that now in this country. So that's something, but. Yeah.
But yeah, if Marcel the Shell does win, it'd be nice because get some representation for a more independent studios. It's usually the big ones which win, but getting more independent one. And Del Toro's Pinocchio, like I said, I haven't seen that one, but I know Del Toro won the Golden Globes, so I think that may be a hint. Like, well, not a hint, but like I think that's a sign that maybe he'll probably also win this. And to be honest, I want Del Toro to win purely so he can criticize the Oscars and tell them off for what they said last year, because animation is cinema. Like he said in the Golden Globe speech, I cheered. I wanted to hug him when he said that. I really did. It's like we all know what the Oscars slagged off animation last year, and it's like, oh yeah, don't kids love these? Yeah, I'm sure kids love Flea and Parak and Watership Down and When the Wind Blows. I'm sure they loved all those movies. Yeah, family classics. But yeah, it's like if Del Toro wins, he'll probably reinstate that speech, hopefully even with more emphasis, so the Oscars may listen potentially. But it would just be nice to get some good animation representation at the Oscars for once, because even though I'm passionate about best animated feature film, I hate the fact that it's a category to begin with, because we all know, because it turned out that last year, like the only reason it was created was to separate animated movies from the real movies. And fuck off. Forgive my language, but just fuck off. I mean, I'm genuinely surprised Del Toro's Pinocchio wasn't nominated to any awards outside of best.
That is shocking. I mean, if you cannot, in all seriousness, tell me that Avatar: The Way of Water was a better movie than Del Toro's Pinocchio. Absolutely not. Sorry.
I mean, honestly, this Del Toro's Pinocchio, would it class for best visual effects? If so, I would because it's stop motion. I'd class it for best visual effects. So yeah, I think it should have been
a lot of work went into it. Yeah,
stop motion is the best looking form of animation, in my opinion.
This one is,
So yeah, I'd say yeah.
I'll give my thoughts later, but I'll come to you first, Toby, and ask what do you think about these animated films?
So let me check. I think the clear outlier who's not going to win is the Sea Beast. I mean,
I don't know. I've heard good things from people about it. Like those that have seen it have said it's surprisingly good.
Yeah, but I also feel like a movie has to at least have some level of popularity to win an Oscar, and this just has not. Like the others have, but I don't think. Like it doesn't have popularity in audience or in critics, and so I don't think.
I mean, the Sea Beast is like a 3.4 on Letterboxd. The three on the left are all on the 4.0 range. So there's a very clear range in popularity.
Yeah, but how many people have seen it really?
That's the thing. I never really put a lot of stock in that because it's and it's just the average Joe, isn't it? Who knows?
Yeah, especially in animated feature, I feel like, especially in this category, like it's not gonna be the same. I have to say about Marcel the Shell with Shoes on. Like, it's probably really good because a lot of people love it, and probably for a reason. I haven't seen it.
No,
but I
well, I don't even know if it came to Germany. To be honest, I would have to check.
Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I don't see it winning. I would love to see it winning just for indie representation, but I don't see it. Turning Red, I also don't really see it. Like, sure, it's Disney, and just because of that, I might give them a very small chance to buy
and
this
given the subject
category.
matter, it's perhaps in with a shot, I guess, but it doesn't really deserve
Like I said, it's just compared to like how much people have been talking about Pinocchio and Puss in Boots, I don't think it's got a chance. Like any other year, it probably would have a chance, but when it's going across like two massive titans in animation for this year, it's no chance.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think between the other two, it's gonna be really, really close, because I can see Puss in Boots winning, mostly because I feel like, especially in animated feature, the Academy goes more for a fun vibe than really serious stuff. If you look at what stuff wins, so I can really see it winning just based on that. But I also really think Pinocchio was really, really good, and I think it definitely deserved to win. It's good. It's gonna be really good. But I think if I have to guess, I think I'm gonna go with Pinocchio anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
But so close.
This is like, for me, I feel like Puss in Boots is the clear favorite to win, but Pinocchio has like as equally strong chance. But it's like, if you watch like the nominations video, I think it's pretty clear like Puss in Boots got like the biggest share out of all of them. I think.
Right.
From what I can hear.
I think Pinocchio just has a chance because I feel like it's one of the only animated movies that actually Hollywood people have taken a little notice of.
Yeah.
So
and
I think just because of that, it has a chance. They only have taken notice because of the name attached to it. Let's be real.
I was going to say it is Del Toro though, and he is kind of again an Academy darling. He's won Best Picture.
Yeah, they didn't know about this movie just because they thought, oh, what a good animated movie. They knew about this because of the name attached to it.
Yeah,
don't mean that in a mean way.
If what you said is true, Toby, and they do let the kids choose it, then Puss in Boots is winning.
Yeah, then it's winning.
Del Toro's Pinocchio is too mature for these kids.
Yeah, but maybe some people really like Pinocchio and just say, no, kids, shut up.
I would go to bat. That's the thing. I don't want to be boring, but I would go to bat for Pinocchio. I think there's a chance that Marcel will sweep it just based on how much the people in America that I've spoken to and seen talk about it absolutely go like crazy for it. I can see it happening, and it's A24, which is a very artsy studio at times. When they're not bringing out Megan.
It seems like, but it always seems like with the Oscars, they go really artsy for all the categories, aside from animated feature film, where they go pure mainstream,
populist. Yeah, but I think Del Toro's Pinocchio was so good. Like, not only just because of, as I said, he's good at promoting it, Del Toro, and so the amount of behind-the-scenes footage there is, and we know how painstaking it was, and he specifically set up a Mexican animation studio to partly make it because one didn't exist, so he was...
I mean, it was like a 10-year-old passion project or something?
Oh, yeah, completely, yeah. But, and it looked amazing, and I loved every sort of thing. I loved the change in the one scene to make it relate way more to the sort of Civil War. I adored the stuff they did with Pinocchio dying and going to like a weird afterlife kind of thing. I won't spoil much more because I know that you haven't seen it yet.
I want to watch it so bad.
It's so good, and I want it to win so badly that my heart is ruling my head, and I think that's what the Academy will go for, because I think if you've seen it, you can't come away from that and not think it was so good and be really emotionally moved.
I genuinely, like, just as long as it's one of those three, I genuinely cannot care less. Like, just as long as it beats Disney, because I think all of them have like a right to win in like some way. Like Puss in Boots is the most popular. Marcel the Shell is the get some representation for the indie films, and Del Toro's Pinocchio is probably is like one of the more likely ones to win. And like I said, if it wins, Del Toro can slag off the Oscars.
Yeah, fair enough. So I think we're all basically in agreement. We'd want to see Pinocchio, but again, the other two out of the three, we don't mind. Sea Beast and Turning Red, not overly fussed about. So yeah, fair enough. Well, I'll pick the next category then, because I think we should probably we've done sort of lead actor and actress, so we should hit supporting actor and actress.
Oh yeah.
So if I can find them, where are we? And then we may as well do them back to back, so I'll just pick whichever one comes up first if I can find it. Actress in a supporting role. The nominees are Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow for The Whale, Kerry Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Sue for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, Toby, thoughts on the best actress in a supporting role? And just before you do that, I will say I've seen everything here except The Whale, and if that holds up to be as good as everyone says it is, I think we literally have 5 potential winners and 5 that I'd love to see win. This is really hard, but yeah, go for it, Toby.
I was so surprised that Stephanie Shu got a nomination, not because she doesn't deserve it, she really deserves it, but because she has just getting no buzz at all. They have been overlooking her this whole award season just to push Jamie Lee Curtis, which like she's amazing, but like this is not her movie. I'm sorry, like no, and I'm gonna be really mad if she wins. But
I wouldn't be.
She's definitely she's not gonna win. Let's just be honest.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. They will wait and see what she does, and she. I mean, the only thing that points to me that she has a chance is that she was surprisingly nominated when nobody else did. That's the only thing that makes me think, oh, maybe they have a special interest in her, but like otherwise.
I really liked her. I thought she was really good in it.
Oh, she was really good, but
yeah.
like just in general, like we know the Academy, so I'm just thinking ahead of that, and I don't think the Academy would choose her.
Okay.
First, I think she's too young for the Academy.
What, Jamie Lee Curtis? Are we talking about now?
No, Stephanie Shu.
Oh, Stephanie Shu. Got you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think you are right about that. I think. I was going to say that. Yeah, I think you're right, because the Academy tends to not go for younger actors and actresses anyway, and they don't tend to either go for kind of non-American actors and actresses.
No.
So yeah.
And like the only thing that points to me maybe having a chance is that all the other awards have kind of overlooked her, and they surprisingly didn't. So that's the only thing that makes me point, oh, maybe there's a chance. Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she just has a chance because I feel like the Academy just wants to give it to her.
She's a lovely person, and
she's
nice.
great.
She was great in the film, so yeah.
She was great in the film. She's a lovely person. Everything I heard about her, she's such a lovely human being.
Yeah. I just love the way that she like cheered for Michelle Yeoh when she won and went nothing. That became a meme, and like somebody sent her a T-shirt of like, this is what women supporting women look like and everything, and it was like she genuinely does seem like really happy for everybody in the film. Like I can see her being just as happy if Stephanie Shu wins if she doesn't.
Oh, I think she would probably want her to win. I think.
Yeah.
And I think between the two, Stephanie Shu was just better in the movie, in my opinion, and. Like Jamie Lee Curtis was great in the movie, but not as good.
Okay.
The way Banshee for Action, I don't know. I mean, I would say they have a chance, but I have no idea. I have nothing seen of
That's fair enough. You probably haven't seen, so that's harder to judge, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Angela Bassett, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. I mean, she did win the Golden Globe, I think. Which was...
Has she not given everything, Toby?
Which was really surprising to me. But I think it's great. Angela Bassett is so great. I love everything she does. She's just an amazing actress. And I think she definitely deserves to win. My personal choice would be Stephanie Sue. what I think the Academy is going for. Oh, that's too hard to tell for me. I don't know.
It's very hard to call this one. I think, yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I
I
don't know. I can make a case for everyone that the Academy may want to go with.
So you're not gonna stick your neck out and say one way or the other, then?
No.
Fair enough. I understand. You can sit this one out then and not pick what the Academy will go with, because again, I think possibly 5 valid options. So what about you then? Excuse me. Jamie, sorry. What was? Sorry, I got a coughing fit there. What would you think of the actors in the lead?
But I asked one of my mates. I decided this isn't for me, so I just texted one of my mates who's seen 3 out of 4 of these movies. Basically, seen all of them besides The Whale, and asked them who they want to win, and they said specifically that when I say they've seen 3 out of 4, they're watching The Banshees of Inisherin like as we speak right now, actually. But they said that definitely Shu, or however it's pronounced.
I think it's Shu, but apologies if it's not, if we have any Asian listeners or anything. So
yeah, sorry.
But yeah, I heard somebody earlier today on a different channel pronounce it Stephanie Shu, so I'm following their lead. So blame them. So,
who is this time we can blame them?
So you would pick Stephanie Shu. What do you think the Academy will pick, though?
I mean, it's a good case for all of them, but I feel like they may just go for easy, because it seems like. I jokingly said, like, it's like for best actor, they always pick actors who are over 45. It's like with actress, it feels even more reclusive. Like, it seems like you only really win if you if you, I don't know. It's like actors, it always feels like it is exclusively old people, older actors. So I feel like maybe Jamie Lee Curtis has got this in the bag.
Angela Bassett's not a young woman.
Yeah, but then again, it's a Marvel film. And, the Oscars never nominate Marvel. I mean, never let Marvel
win. She won
the
Golden Globe, so
But that's the Golden Globe where they separate out the stuff.
Yeah, true. I'm really struggling with this. First of all, I will say that Will picked Angela Bassett for this one. He didn't pick an animated movie, which is why I didn't bring that up, because he hasn't seen any of them.
So sorry, I need to correct something. In supporting performances, they don't separate out the Golden Globes.
Oh, okay. In the Golden Globes, they don't do that, do they? Okay.
Only for main performances.
Right.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad you said that, because I didn't watch, so I wouldn't have known. So that's
so maybe Angela Bassett does have a better chance than I thought.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't be mad if any of them won, with the proviso that, as I said, I haven't seen The Whale yet, so we can kind of knock that out of contention for now till I've seen it. As for the other 4, I wouldn't be mad if any of them won. But the 2 that really are strongly in my heart are Angela Bassett and Kerry Condon. And I would struggle so much to pick between them. But I really want to shout out Kerry Condon's performance, because having watched The Banshees of Inisherin, I genuinely never do this and came away thinking that performance was absolutely... Like, I cared so much about that character, and she's a very supporting role. She's not one of the leads. Like, the leads are like 2 men, and it's a story of male friendship. And yet she completely blew me away in that movie. So I want to shout her out, partly because I think the Academy will go with Angela Bassett, who also thoroughly deserves it, and who I won't be mad about. But yeah, I'm so torn on this one. So yeah. Because again, I watched Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I came away thinking Angela Bassett and Letitia Wright, for that matter, could have been up for supporting actress, and I wouldn't have been mad. Although you probably won't Letitia Wright lead, I guess.
Also, I just got a message from another one of my friends, and they've also seen 3 out of 4 of the movies, and they said that they're going to pick either Kerry Condon or Angela Bassett.
The same as me, you see.
Instead
Awesome.
of
I'm glad.
So I've had input from 2 friends.
Fair enough. Do we know these friends, or would you rather keep them anonymous in case the internet?
I'll keep them anonymous because they haven't said they would be. I'll be courteous.
That's fair enough. I'm hunting through then for the best supporting actor so that we can follow up. There we go. Actor in a supporting role. The nominations are Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, which I believe was the surprise I've heard, Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans, Barry Keegan, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, for The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ki Hei Kwan, apologies if I'm pronouncing that wrong, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Jamie, we didn't come to you first last time, so what do you think? What about this? What are your thoughts, and what do you think will happen?
I mean, oh god, how am I going to pronounce this? Ki Hu Kwan, is that how it's pronounced?
I think it's
Ki-hei.
Kwan, but I'm probably wrong. I know he uses Jonathan quite a lot. If it helps.
Please forgive me. I am a pasty white boy. I am terrible with
Exactly.
Asian names. So I try, but I still don't know whether it's Hayo or Heyo for Miyazaki. But that's not related. But Ki-hei Kwan, I think that's sort of the favorite to win. I think definitely, and based on what I've seen, I think he's got the best chance. And it seems like this friend, the last friend I mentioned, it seems like he's actually watching the stream alongside. He's giving me updates for all of them. So he just said Ki-hei Kwan all the way as well. So
awesome. Yeah, that's fine. So you think you'd like to see Ki-hei Kwan or Jonathan K. Kwan get it, and you think that's what the Academy will go with?
I mean, like I said, they're the favourites to win, so I can see them getting it. And also, like I said, promising young talent, I think, deserves to be rewarded. I know the Oscars hate young people, but if they win, that'll be glorious.
I mean, he's not short round anymore, dude. He's not young now. But okay.
Wait.
Yes, it's the same guy.
What you just said?
That guy is short round from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
No way.
That's why everyone's like,
that.
Everyone in Hollywood is proper patting their back, and people who are cynical are saying, "Oh yeah, they're patting your back for the return of Ki-hei Kwan and Brendan Fraser, but you're the reason they didn't have a Hollywood career for the last 30, 40 years or whatever in the first place."
Jeez, yeah. I guess he isn't as young as I thought he was then, but
no. Well, that's
maybe he's got more of a chance than I thought.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, I think he will win it. To be perfectly honest with you, so I would agree. What about you, Toby?
I think he will win it too. I also think his performance is amazing, but it's Academy, so I'm not always going for quality in these judgings here. And I can't go for quality because the other four I have not seen, so it wouldn't be really fair. Like if I have not seen one or two, then it's like something different. But if I've only seen one, then picking that as a winner is maybe a little unfair.
Yeah,
but I think he might win for the Academy just because of that return storyline that they just want to pat this film like look what we've done.
And I think they will for that reason, and because they're going to get hugely criticized when most likely Michelle Yeoh and Stephanie Hsu don't win for being anti-Asian. So I think this will be them going, see, do like performances. So
one of them is going to win for sure.
Just ignore the fact that most of the Academy members are white.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think if they don't let any one of these three win, I
think he's the one out of the three that's probably got it locked, I would think. But yeah, just to go through the rest, I haven't seen Causeway. Brian Tyree Henry, I'm sure, is good. Again, haven't seen The Fabelmans. It isn't out yet. I will see it. If Judd Hirsch is great, cool. Having seen The Banshees of Inisherin, I wouldn't say either of those men, no offense to anybody that would support them, I wouldn't say they necessarily deserve it. Brendan Gleeson was thoroughly unlikable, but then again, I suppose in that sense he did a good job because the character's kind of maybe supposed to be. And Barry Keoghan was just playing the weird little boy like he plays in every movie, So I haven't seen anything, and I just went away thinking, Druig sucks. So I'm sorry. So yeah, I would agree. I think Ki-hei Kwan, as I believe you pronounce it, is my pick that I would totally go with because I think it was a great performance, a really moving one, the best line of the movie, and that's the story that everyone's going with. So I think that's what the Academy will pick as well. Let's just see. Oh, blimey, I've closed the Discord that had Will's picks on. So Will went with Barry Keoghan actually for Banshees of Inisherin. So there you go.
Surprising because he didn't care much for that movie.
No, I know, weird. I don't think he hated it, but it just didn't really connect with him. So it's a shame. I would have the two performances if I had to pick one to win. I would have definitely went Brendan Gleeson over Barry Keoghan, but. All right, Will. He's not here to defend himself. He did say he's going to try and jump back on, but his phone needs to charge a little bit because that's what he's having to rely on using, unfortunately. So if I scroll through, we haven't done this one yet, so we'll hit back with another technical category. The nominations for achievement in sound. I don't believe we've done this. No, we haven't. And they are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun: Maverick. Toby, we'll come to you first again. What are your thoughts on the best sound?
I think what's going to win is All Quiet on the Western Front. This like I was not as impressed with the movie as a lot of people were, but the sound design is amazing. It's so good. It just has to win this category. Like would I ever tell The Way of Water? Like, no. Just no. The Batman had good sound design, but I would have seen it more in original score, to be honest. I think that would have been a better category for it. Sound design, like it was good, but it didn't stand out to me. The scores stood out to me more. Elvis, I mean, it's biographical and about a music person.
Count with Elvis, because I mean, as you said, it's more about the singing and the performance. But is that classed as sound or is that a separate category?
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure.
I mean, it has it any other category nominated with sound?
Is sound design specifically diegetic? Because if so, then yeah, Elvis has got it.
Because what else could it win? Original score can't win because it's not original score.
Yeah, true.
The same with original song. Like,
it wasn't exactly original music back in the 1950s. Ooh.
I read an article about the Doja Cat song Vegas, which was from Elvis, that it couldn't be nominated for original song because of some sample interpretation. I don't know. It couldn't.
That's not original music, is it? Yeah. Anyway,
I mean, it's an original song but it's like sampled some stuff. Like, I haven't heard the song. I just read the article about it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I
agree with you. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I think it could win just because it's the only sound category that it's nominated for, because the categories are weirdly structured. So I could see it winning just so we give Elvis a sound category win. But for me personally, I would say All Quiet on the Western Front. The sound design is just amazing.
Yeah, and I agree. I think even having not seen All Quiet on the Western Front or Elvis, I think this is the one that All Quiet on the Western Front is most likely to take, because I can imagine, being a war movie, it is going to rely a lot on, sound effects and the impact of sound, as war movies tend to do. And I think it's got a lot of nominations, and this is the one that it's most likely to pick up. So that's what I think the Academy would go with. And even having not seen it, I would probably put it above the ones I have seen. Like, I don't think anything special about Avatar: The Way of Water. Obviously, I didn't really like it. Or The Batman. I wouldn't say sound design was something I came away thinking all that much about. I can understand the logic behind Top Gun: Maverick outside of just picking a popular movie because, jet sounds and everything. And yeah, fair enough. But it just seems quite standard in a way. So yeah, I think All Quiet on the Western Front will get it, and probably should. But what about you, Jamie? What would you say?
I can see a justification for all of these getting nominated besides Avatar. Like, I don't like what's special about the sound in that film, from what I can tell. But as for the the rest, I mean, the Batman, maybe not. I do think it is more sound, like the soundtrack, than the actual sound itself. But Elvis, if I don't know what the definition of sound is, so if the diegetic music being played counts, then yeah, I think Elvis has got this in the bag. Top Gun Maverick's got fancy jet engines, so I think that helps with the sound. And All Quiet on the Western Front, every war film I've seen has impressive sound in general. So I'd say it's probably a toss-up between... I think All Quiet on the Western Front has got it, unless Elvis does include all the music included as well. So I say it's one of those two, All Quiet on the Western Front or Elvis. And maybe Top Gun Maverick, but I think the first two are more likely.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement it's between those two. We couldn't really pick between them, but probably I would give the edge to All Quiet on the Western Front just because it has a lot of nominations, and I can't see it picking anything else up, unfortunately. And I think it'll come away with at least one. So, yeah.
According to Wikipedia, best sound is sound mixing, recording, sound design, and sound editing.
Okay.
That's sound editing.
Does that include sort of music, or does it just mean like sound effects? Or
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, how would you, if you were voting on it, would you think, oh, those songs were great, or would you think, oh, that rifle fire and sounds of war was harrowing?
We're not very technical.
The job description of the winners are production sound mixers, re-recording mixers, and supervising sound editors. So make that.
Well, since we're on sound, I'll come to the next one, which is the best. Oh, first of all, I will say that Will picked Elvis for best sound. So again, it's between those two, it looks like. But yeah, we're on to the next one, which is best original score. And the nominees for that are, if I can pull it up, All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fabelmans. So any thoughts on this one? I can't remember who we came to last. Jamie, we'll just come to you first.
Unlike the other ones, I really can't give an input on any of these because I seeing some clips doesn't really do the score any justice because I haven't seen any of these movies. I really can't give any opinions on any of the like the scores of them. So I don't even know what the popular option in all of these is. So yeah, I don't really have anything to say.
Okay, fair enough. And your friends haven't chimed in on this one.
I mean, all I can say is maybe they'll give it to the Fabelmans just because it's John Williams and he's popular. And I imagine it's also a banger score because it's John Williams, but I don't know.
I've heard parts of it, and the main theme in particular is hauntingly beautiful. So I will say that because for whatever reason, the only reason I know this is that the main theme is on the Wikipedia page. So if you look up the Fabelmans and scroll down, you can just play the main theme. So go do that after this stream, maybe.
I'll probably do that.
Let's see. So original score, Will went with All Quiet on the Western Front. Toby, what about you? What would you go with?
The thing is with scores and me is that when I watch a movie, I almost never remember the score afterwards. And the fact that I remembered the score of the Batman afterwards just means that it should have been nominated and should have won. Like All Quiet on the Western Front, I don't remember the soundtrack at all. Everything Everywhere All at Once. Also, like, what was that soundtrack in this? Like there was some opera singing in one scene that I remember, but otherwise,
I vaguely remember there being techno type music in one scene, maybe, but I could be wrong.
And the other things I haven't watched, so like, who knows? I don't know. I would probably also just say the Fabelmans because of John Williams and
I mean, it is good from what I've heard of it. But yeah, shout out to Clacker the Geek who's watching and in the chat who also said Fabelman's probably due to John Williams, which I agree with, and who also would have picked Kerry Condon for supporting actress. So shout out because I totally agree with you. But yeah, I think I haven't seen Babylon, so I couldn't really comment. Everything Everywhere, although a great movie, the score doesn't stand out. Haven't seen All Quiet on the Western Front. What I've heard of the Fabelmans is good, and I know it's John Williams. And the Banshees of Inisherin, having seen it, there is some really cool, like Irish type music in the background. And I know that obviously the central theme that it all revolves around is the titular song, and that is a great little performance. And I know that Brendan Gleeson plays his own fiddle and everything, and it's great. But yeah, I would probably still say the Fabelmans will take it and probably should. And it's probably one of John Williams' last movies. He has said, I think he'll retire after this and the next Indiana Jones movie. So if this is his second to last ever movie, yeah, I think that's just going to increase his chances, really.
I mean, it makes sense. If Spielberg, like I've heard rumors that Spielberg's planning on retiring. Like if he retires, John Williams retires at the same time. So they're like a double act, basically.
Like when Tim Burton retires, Danny Elfman's never getting any more work.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's scroll down and see what category is next. I did tell you what Will picked, didn't I? Yes, I did. Yeah, for that one. We'll get through these next ones hopefully before too long, if I can ever.
Hopefully not too long, because
You guys happy to talk about adapted screenplay briefly?
I've got no way of being able to know this because I don't know the source material, don't know the adapted source material. I don't know what they class
as adapted because a lot of this I would have assumed was an original story, but just for argument's sake, the nominees are all Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery, Living, Top Gun Maverick, and Women Talking. I want to see Glass Onion win just to get something.
Is this the only nominee Glass Onion has?
Yep.
That's surprising.
I have a feeling, given the subject matter, that women talking will probably win this, but I would have went Glass Onion just because I want to see it get something. So yeah, quick thoughts, guys, on anything?
That's my thoughts.
Luckily, Wikipedia says on what it's based to be nominated, and apparently Glass Onion was only nominated because it's adapting on characters in the first Knives Out movie.
Oh,
Very strange way of seeing adapted screenplay. Like,
what about Good Maverick?
Okay.
Exactly the same situation, yeah.
And the others are just other older screenplays or novels and stuff.
Yeah. I know Women Talk is based on, like, I think, an existing either novel or biography or something. And obviously, All Quiet on the Western Front was a novel before it was even the original film. So that would make sense.
Oh, yeah, Top Gun Maverick was nominated because of Top Gun, the movie.
Character. Just bizarre. Oh, well.
Secrets is adapted screenplays by default?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well,
that's the way of thinking. Who I want to win, I don't know. Maybe just Glass Onion, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, same, because we enjoyed it.
I mean, it's a great screenplay.
I really want to watch Glass Onion. I don't care if it's not as good as the original. I just want to watch it.
I preferred it to the original personally, but I'm the only person that did, but only by like half a star. But yeah, if anyone's curious, Will would have went with All Quiet on the Western Front for this one. So
it's not unlikely. Let's just say it.
Yeah, that is the more sort of sensible, adapted, like based on an existing novel kind of thing. So probably we'll get it.
So based on an existing novel and previous films as well, because it's technically like a remake.
And a film that won the Best Picture award back in its release as well, the original. So.
I mean, we wouldn't say it's a remake just because these both movies have the same base.
No, but it was originally a sort of novel anyway. So
but I wouldn't say it's a remake just because other movies have had this novel as a source. I wouldn't say remake is definitely.
No, it's not the same movie, is it? Of course not. Awesome. Well, we've done that one, so we'll quickly hit up Best Original Screenplay. And the nominees there are The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness.
I think it's fair to say Everything Everywhere All at Once is winning this.
I have a feeling Tar's going to take this, to be honest, just because I know how popular it is and how it's kind of given the nature of the story and stuff. I can see an argument for every one of them. I would love to see Banshees of Inisherin take it because I love that screenplay, and I've got a feeling The Fabelmans I will like enough once I have seen it. But yeah, I have a feeling they'll go with Tar. I would personally go with Banshees of Inisherin.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if The Fabelmans won. Like, I haven't seen it yet, but I feel like because it's such a personal story for Spielberg, I think that would just be it'll be nice if it won. Like, just like just a nice level.
Well, I'll input here and tell you that obviously we don't have DK with us, but he is still in communication with me. And he did chime in, and I should probably give you his thoughts. He just said, if you want input, I think Fabelmans is a worthy contender. He's actually seen it. He says it's a good spotlight into one of the best directors of recent times. Top Gun Maverick is a ride and better than any sequel has any right to be, surpassing the original by miles. But his vote would go to Everything Everywhere because, in his opinion, it's just so good. And then just says, Fabelmans is good, touching, if not exactly what you would expect from Spielberg. However, the last 5 minutes automatically make it one of my top 3 for the year, and you'll see why. So I will see when it actually bloomin' comes out. So yeah.
Why does the UK get everything so much later? It's annoying.
It's so. I mean, not everything, but most things. It's so weird.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. So I will tell you that Will picked Everything Everywhere All at Once, obviously, for this one. So, and any other thoughts before I quickly move us on?
I think this is one of the categories that they could get away with not giving it to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
See, I can see it being that because it's such a weird outlander screenplay, and that's the sort of thing that'd be like. Like sci-fi and fantasy. Yeah.
I agree. I can see it's winning, but I'm just saying in general, it's one of the categories where if it's not winning,
people wouldn't be devastated, kind of thing.
No, it's not as unique to Everything Everywhere as like acting or something.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm not going to go through the nominees for live action short films because we haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, we just skip the short films and the documentaries because we have
animated short film. We haven't seen them. Again, if you do, by all means,
we want to watch them because the names are amazing.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Amazing, yeah. Anyway, do you want to go quickly through Best Original Song? We may as well. That's quite popular.
Yeah.
So the nominees for Best Original Song are Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Natu Natu from RRR, and This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And Toby, we'll come to you first. Do you have any thoughts on these, or what do you think is going to happen on the night?
The only thing I haven't listened to is Applause from Tell It Like a Woman. I don't know about this. I listened to the songs of the other four, not necessarily watch the movies, but I listen to the songs. And I think in general it's a pretty weak batch, I would say, which I would say gives Natu Natu actually a chance to maybe win, because there isn't like anything else where I'm like, oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be, these are so good, this is going to win. So to get it away from them, because I think it's the best out of these, in my opinion. And yeah, there isn't just anything I would say that actually is such a clear winner that I would say, oh, it just gets it away. Yeah, Lift Me Up, Black Panther, it's a great song. Especially for, like, in isolation, it's an okay song, but for the movie, it's perfect, honestly. So it's, but I don't see it winning, honestly. Hold My Hand, Top Gun. I could see that winning, honestly.
Yeah. That's kind of the popular choice, isn't it?
And also, I feel like Hollywood kind of loves Lady Gaga.
Yeah, exactly. I would agree with you for those same reasons. I think that's what will take it.
Yeah.
But I would probably. I
Even
think
though
there's a chance.
Didn't give a supporting actress like 2 years ago.
True. Well, yeah. I mean, that wasn't. She's not really renowned as an actress, though. I think.
But there was like an outside chance, or maybe main actress. I don't know how to classify and House of Gucci supporting main. Probably main. I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding what's what in a lot of movies.
Fair enough. I can't really talk about Applause because I don't know it either, except I know Diane Warren is a great and renowned sort of writer of songs. I think Natu Natu might have a chance just because RRR is so renowned and wasn't nominated for anything else, surprisingly.
Yeah, I imagine we probably won't go into detail like the international feature film because we probably haven't seen most of them.
If you're curious why it's not up for that, it's because India didn't submit it for some reason. I don't know why.
Right. Oh, okay, so that's why it wasn't. Because I was like, that's a weird film to snub because that was like that film was insanely popular, but
supposedly, I don't know the exact ins and outs, but supposedly it's controversial because it uses the second language of India instead of the main one, and it's like considered to be controversial as supporting another way of life or a not popular religion or something or other. So for whatever reason, India didn't submit it for consideration. So that's why
that's stupid, but whatever.
Yeah, there's always some daft reason like that, isn't there? But yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I think This Is a Life I remember well enough, and it was great and powerful for that moment, but not super memorable. Hold My Hand was, I think, like I said, it'll get it for popular reasons, but it was pretty just a Top Gun song with Lady Gaga. I'd like to see Lift Me Up win because I think that really is good, and I liked it a lot, and it's the only one I've listened to outside of the movie personally. So yeah, that would be what I would say. And Will went with Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, would be his pick. So, doesn't look like he's going to be rejoining us since he hasn't said one way or the other, but he hasn't been online, so possibly not. Let's see if there's anything else for us to quickly hit on if we can.
Production design we didn't do.
There's best soundtrack, there's best editing, there's cinematography, and best picture. What else?
Okay. We'll probably finish on Best Picture because that's the big one.
Yeah,
so
I
think
think
there's not much else. So we're not going to do live action animated shorts. I'll skip those. Documentary feature film. I haven't heard any of those. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that or.
No,
I heard the name of the Navalny documentary. Like I heard that it's a thing that exists, but nothing more about it.
I
don't watch documentaries.
I don't tend to either. A friend of mine really raved about Fire of Love, so yeah, I'll support that one. Yeah, documentary shorts, same. I haven't seen any of them, haven't really heard of them at all. But we will get to it potentially. You never know. Best international
documentaries
feature
I watch
film.
are behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, best international film, as I said, with the proviso that we know why RRR didn't get nominated. It's between All Quiet on the Western Front from Germany, Argentina 1985 from Argentina, Close
Really?
from Belgium.
Argentina 1985 was from Argentina. I never would have noticed.
Who knew? Close from Belgium, EO from Poland, and The Quiet Girl from Ireland. Haven't seen any of them, but I like the look of the poster of EO, and it's constantly on the chart for the best performing in limited release. And the poster has a fun donkey on it, so let's go with EO for no reason, even though it's bound to be All Quiet on the Western
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it's the only one of these films to get nominated for any other award, so of course it's going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it is nominated for Best Picture. Like,
Yeah.
very strange if they not
Do
give.
you guys not remember what happened with Parasite?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Well
didn't that
well
happen?
deserved for Best Picture, by the way. Parasite's brilliant.
Parasite
I
is
haven't
good.
seen it. I will get to it.
He's
I'm
good.
trying to see if Will had any thoughts on this. I don't think. Oh, he did. He said All Quiet on the Western Front as well. So there you go. I think we're all pretty much in agreement. So apologies to the other films. I'm sure you're great.
I need to
I like
watch
the
more
look of The
Argentinian
Quiet.
films though, because Wild Tales is brilliant.
I haven't heard of it, but I will put that on the watch
Oh,
list.
I'd recommend it. It's amazing.
So we will be out of here soon, guys. If anyone's still persisting, I think we have 2 viewers left. So they're not watching live anyway. People can still come to it later, of course. So if you have any thoughts, by the way, feel free to hit us up on our social medias. We're not on Twitter anymore for obvious reasons, but you can find us on Mastodon, Instagram, Facebook, or just here on YouTube. Feel free to leave comments or any thoughts or feelings on here in the comments of this video. Why did I foolishly download all of the posters for these films that I'm not putting notes? That's what I'm having to scroll through. It's just annoying.
Can we do best editing next?
We can, if you like. So I've gone to best film editing. The nominees for that one are The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. So why would you want to talk about that, Jamie? What were your thoughts on that one?
Well, it's less for the actual films itself, because I think most people agree that Everything Everywhere All at Once has probably got this in the bag. That like from what I've seen, the editing in that film is top notch. But the reason I want to bring this up is I just want to say, Oscars, if you're listening, you're probably not, but just saying, if you even think about cutting best editing out of the main show, you're gonna have to run high, because I'm gonna come to your house and I'm gonna beat you up, because that was the single dumbest thing they could have ever done. I mean, think about it. They had to edit best editing back into the main show. Like, that is just, do you not see the irony
funny,
in that? Editing, without editing, you don't have a freaking movie. So it's like, why the hell would you snub one of the most important parts of the movie? And it's just like, the film industry does not give editors enough credit. It really does not, and it really pisses me off. So, Oscars,
I know a lot of people
do better.
but yeah,
do better.
It's a huge part of the film,
Don't knock best editing out of the main show and replace it with freaking Amy Schumer.
I don't think that'll happen, but anyway, we'll see.
I mean, it happened last year.
They'll learn from their mistake. We have to hope.
They probably won't. It's the Oscars we're talking about.
True. I've seen as the Banshees of Inisherin and Everything Everywhere, Top Gun Maverick. They'd all be fine, I guess, for winning. But the only one that really stands out because of the nature of it is Everything Everywhere. So I guess I'll go with that. Would be my pick, and that would be what I think the Academy will go for. What about you, Toby?
I agree. I think besides the acting performances, I feel like the one thing in the technical categories where Everything Everywhere All at Once really stands out is film editing.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the fact about Everything Everywhere All at Once? Like, I haven't seen the movie, but you know the one where it's like, you can see all the editors in like a single frame.
Mm-hmm. What about
of the movie, where it's like a blink and you miss it, but you can see the editors for a frame. I just think that's a really cool detail.
I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that. So that's okay. That is interesting. Okay.
It's like in that big, like, from what I can tell, there's some kind of like multiverse montage at the end. It's like in one of the frames you can see the editors editing the film over Zoom.
That's sweet. That's awesome. So it's kind of like a Hitchcock style cameo in the movie.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to talk briefly about makeup and hairstyling? I think I did touch on it earlier.
I don't think I'm very qualified for that, but
well,
I'm
if anyone
just
is
to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
up
like
for it.
it's between this and All Quiet on the Western Front. I mean, All Quiet on the Western Front is like not nice
Probably All
looking
Quiet will
makeup and
probably win.
hairstyle, but that's because of the nature of the movie that it's not nice looking, but it looks
Fair enough.
good in a technical
For anybody that's
sense.
I think All
listening and
Quiet
not
will probably
viewing,
win because you got like the war makeup and everything,
Yeah.
the cuts and stuff, and all that, and like scruffy hair, making that look authentic is surprisingly hard to do. So I think All Quiet will probably get that. Although I can see Elvis being a contender up there because their hair they did to replicate Elvis's hair is mighty impressive.
Fair enough. The nominees are All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Elvis, and The Whale. And I already said earlier, I think The Batman is probably going to sneak this because of the whole Colin Farrell. Like, people were genuinely astounded that was him with the penguin makeup and everything. So I can see that.
Good point.
Not to mention, I mean,
Okay,
you've
yeah.
also got they've got a style like Zoe Kravitz, and she looked amazing in the movie. And even the kind of emo style they gave for Bruce Wayne, for Rob Pattinson. So I think The Batman will take this. It might be the only one it gets, but I wouldn't be surprised to see literally any of them get it, to be
I mean,
honest.
to be fair, I wouldn't mind if the Batman win because it's like it's between that and All Quiet on the Western Front. I feel like, and All Quiet's bound to win other Oscars, so you might as well give the Batman throw it a bone.
Yeah. That would be my thought. Yeah, exactly. Anything
Batman.
else, you guys, about this one?
No,
I'm just obsessed with the makeup, hairstyling, design of everything visually in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and the first.
I would agree with you. It is
It's
astounding,
just-
but I think the first one had that a bit more than the second one. Having said that, I do like what they did with Namor to completely change the character's origin, I guess, place of origin, and to give that an authentic. What would you call it? Aztec feel, I guess. Probably be deeply offensive to some people, but you know what I mean. Hopefully,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, so yeah, it was an interesting choice because you've also got like the African culture clashing up against the culture, South American side of things as well. So yeah, it was an interesting choice, and it was something that you wouldn't have expected because it's not part of the comics or anything. So I can see it getting it for that, but I do think I think it's going to be the Batman because it'll get nothing else. So do you want to talk about production design, or have we talked about? No, we haven't yet.
I'm just gonna say I think it's the one that Babylon could win.
Production design, yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
So the nominees quickly then are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Babylon, Elvis, and The Fabelmans. It's basically a question of what wins the other technical awards as to what will get this, because it'll be something just to dish them around. And since
So
I've
probably would be
given
Babylon.
nothing, since I've given nothing else to it, I'll go with Elvis on this one as the one that will take it. But I haven't seen enough of them to really comment. Otherwise, I like the look of The Fabelmans, I guess. So, but yeah.
I mean, I think you can make a case for all of them winning, but I think Babylon will probably win this one.
Well, I probably couldn't make a case for Avatar, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, Babylon definitely. Yeah, but I think that's probably more costuming than production design. But again, I haven't seen it yet. I will see on Thursday and let people know. So yeah. So the thing is, what would you're handy to know these things, Toby. What classes as production design? I'm assuming it means like sets and locations and stuff.
The category was once named Best Art Direction, which is interesting.
Okay.
It's about set decoration and stuff. Like the
That's what I
Wikipedia
thought,
doesn't say a lot about it, unfortunately.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. I kind of figured that, and I do think you might well be right with Babylon in that case. But yeah, I'll still go with my choice. So we're getting closer. We have cinematography would be the next one. We definitely need to talk about that. And that is up for that one are All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, which only turns up in this category and I've never heard of. Elvis, Empire of Light, which it's surprising considering some of the reviews it got that it's up for this, but cool. Roger Deakins, yay. And Tar. Jamie, thoughts on cinematography and what will happen here?
From what I can see, I feel like it'll probably be either All Quiet on the Western Front again, or maybe Tar, because from what I've seen, it's got very interesting cinematography. I feel like.
Yeah, fair enough.
Although, as I said, I do kind of wish the Batman was nominated for this instead of visual effects. Because I think what stood out the most for me about the Batman was its cinematography, like the detective noir style and everything. I really loved the look of the film, but that one.
Fair enough. Just quickly, I will say I haven't seen any of these, but I have a feeling I'll stick my neck out and pick Empire of Light as my pick because it's about film and I know what the Academy are like, so I can see them picking that. So I'll say that's my pick and that's what they'll go with. So yeah, Toby.
Usually when the Academy picks things, like if it's a war film or a film about films, you're gonna get Academy voters.
Yeah, exactly. So thoughts, Toby? Do you think the same thing or?
I would go with All Quiet on the Western Front.
Awesome. Is that just you representing your country?
No, not because of that. Like from what I've seen, I agree Tar is a contender, definitely. Elvis, I don't think it's cinematography for it. And the other two, honestly, I haven't seen nothing about them. So
that's fair enough. Once I've seen them, I would be able to comment more. I'd love to have been able to. I just haven't seen the movies, so it would feel a bit disingenuous. I think we may be up to the big category, or there may be one more. I'm not sure. Let me just have a look through. Nope, we are literally just Best Picture is the only thing left to go. Let me just quickly go through the things because I think I've missed a lot.
Did we do Best Director?
No, we didn't. That's a good point.
Good point, Toby. Doing.
That was the other one. There it is, Best Directing.
There's probably some overlap between Best Picture and Best Director, to be fair.
Not as much as you would think. Although I am pleased that James Cameron didn't get a nod for directing, even though the blooming movie did. But
I never cared much for James Cameron's direction. I find him a bit overrated.
I did back in the day. I mean, back when the Terminator movies and Aliens, even Titanic, The Abyss.
Like for me, he's very much style over substance, and I don't know.
That's fair enough. I'm just going to quickly go through some of the ones that I've missed from Will. He would have picked All Quiet on the Western Front for production design. Music, original score, All Quiet on the Western Front. Makeup and hairstyling, he would have went with The Batman as well. Film editing, he would have went Paul Rogers for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Costume design, Elvis. Cinematography, Elvis. And he couldn't really comment on anything else apart from the two we're going to talk about, which would be direction and best film. So quickly for best director, he would have picked Banshees of Inisherin. I will quickly go through what the actual nominations are and then see what we think. So the nominees here are The Banshees of Inisherin, Martin McDonagh, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, The Fabelmans, Steven Spielberg, Tar, Todd Field, and Triangle of Sadness, Ruben Östlund, which again doesn't turn up except in a couple of the big categories, which is very odd. But yeah, so Toby, what about you? What do you think will take this, and what would you pick?
I think it's actually a really, really close category. I can see the Fabelmans winning just because of the nature of that film.
And Spielberg.
Yeah, attached with the director's name. So I could see it winning because of that. I think Banshees of Inisherin definitely has a great shot. And I don't think we should let out Tar. I don't think we should. I think it definitely has a really.
I think the fact that it's not nominated elsewhere means we can probably rule out Triangle of Sadness because it only turns up really in here, and I think it's one of the nominees for Best Picture, but it's got no love anywhere else.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I am skeptical if it would win. Honestly,
it makes sense in the sense that if it was for the most directing, they would probably do because it's certainly the most flashy and the one that would have the most work to do on it. You would
the
think,
most unique.
Yeah. Oh, definitely the most of the five, 100%. But yeah,
I think the director's category might be too tough for it to win. Although that would be strange to something I say later.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think for me, I think Spielberg's going to win this with The Fabelmans because it's more like up the Academy's alley. I feel like they'll just connect with it more and probably choose it. For more, Spielberg's their darling. They probably pick him. Also, I wouldn't mind if everyone, because like I said, there's been rumors that this is going to be Spielberg's last film, and if his last film ends with him winning an Oscar for best directing, I think that'll just be like a nice send off,
especially for the story of his life. Effectively,
yeah.
It's got to kind of.
If this is true, I'd want it to win just for that alone.
Yeah. See, I think out of them all, I would personally like to see Banshees of Inisherin because it's much less flashy and in your face with the direction, but that's often harder. And I did appreciate a lot of what it was doing and a lot of the kind of subtle moments and frames of the movie. So that would be my
Oh yeah, I
personal
did hear
pick.
it's quite understated.
Yeah, definitely. But I would personally say, actually, I agree. I think Spielberg and The Fabelmans will be what actually takes the movie. So, yeah, the Oscar, I should say. So now, all that's left to talk about is the big one, and that's Best Picture. Was everyone else, by the way, surprised that they actually nominated all 10 this year? Because some years they go like 8 or 9 or whatever. And as soon as they
Really? I
announced they
thought
were
they
actually...
was do all 10.
No, they're not. They can pick anywhere. I think that there's a minimum maybe of 5, but they can pick as many as or as little as they want beyond that. So I was surprised they opted for all 10, especially considering some of the things that did and didn't make it amongst those. But
I mean, I think they should always. Oh, sorry.
Here you go.
I think they should always do 10 because why not? Like, why not?
I know, right? If you have,
like, if you just expand the list to 10, then you just give more movies a shout out.
It's like
Nice.
all the other ones are 5. This is the big one. You're the one most people care about. So it's like
this didn't used to be 10. This for until very recently, this was 5. It's only recently that they've extended it to be up to 10, but still awesome. So the nominees for Best Picture then are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, unfortunately, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun: Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking.
I just realised, do they order it in alphabetical order?
I think so, looking at this.
Is that the reason that All Quiet on the Western Front is always the first one which appears?
Yeah, because it must be because All Quiet, Avatar, Banshees, Elvis. Yeah, definitely.
Never realised that.
Yeah, well, there you go. So,
right,
what are your thoughts, Jamie?
Can I just say, like, right off the bat, how surprised I am that Top Gun Maverick was actually nominated? Because the Oscars, they never nominate mainstream, like, popcorn movies like Top Gun Maverick. Like, that is the epitome of a popcorn movie. So I am genuinely surprised that it's been nominated.
It's probably because of just how much, like, the records that it broke financially are absolutely astounding. Like, it had the best performance of any movie since, like, the original for, like, number of weeks on the chart, and the amount of money that it made just kept on racking up and up and up, and nobody expected it. So I think that was the tension.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I hate pretentious film twats who are just like, oh, I only like the fine art. Screw all this popcorn rubbish. Oh,
agreed.
So, I'm happy that mainstream films actually get represented.
I mean, Black Panther got nominated back in the day.
It did, yeah, and I think The Dark Knight, I think, did briefly as well, if you want to call that a sort of popular.
I think
was it nominated for Best Picture?
It does have a lot of themes about race, for instance. So I can see why, for those reasons alone, I can see why it got nominated for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for these films, well, I haven't seen them, so I can't really give a thing. But from what I can tell, I feel like the most likely ones to win are either The Fabelmans, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and All Quiet on the Western Front. I originally didn't think All Quiet on the Western Front would be winning, but from how many awards it's been nominated for already, also the fact that it's a war film, and war films tend to do pretty well in the Oscars.
You better remember, though, it's also up for international film, and it's not going to win both.
So
did Parasite win both?
Yeah, Parasite won both.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Parasite. If Parasite won Best Picture, of course it won Best International Feature.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have made much sense otherwise.
Okay.
No, that's why I was asking. That would be strange.
But yeah, I can see All Quiet on the Western Front having a good chance. Everything Everywhere All at Once, easily the most, in terms of just the general audience, it's probably arguably the most popular of this bunch. And The Fabelmans, it's a movie about movies. Again, that also scores pretty well with the Oscars. As for what shouldn't have been nominated, well, I don't think Avatar 2 should have been nominated. I haven't seen it, but I already know, it shouldn't have been nominated. The first movie shouldn't have been nominated.
Yeah, I have seen it. I'm the world's biggest James Cameron fan. I liked the first movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it. And I thought Avatar: The Way of Water was insulting. There's genuine lines of dialogue that are cut and pasted from the first movie, and the entire plot literally is just that.
I have no interest in watching it. And all I can say is another year, and it's another year and another year where animation is once again snubbed from Best Picture, despite the fact that I think this year, out of all of the years in previous ones, I think this one had the best chance to get represented. But no, it's not. They're not real movies, so screw you.
Yeah, we skipped over it, but on a similar note, it's worth noting that yet again, all of the Best Directing nominees are male. So,
oh yeah,
yep, every one of them.
Yeah, there aren't that many female directors to begin with, especially.
There
ones the
really is.
Oscars
It's just they
have.
never get a chance to get any awards because
Really,
they're never nominated.
I never
Yeah.
noticed any. It's just
Yeah, because they never get up for awards or anything. That's
yeah,
the
that's probably
problem,
why.
isn't it? Yeah.
But
It
but
really
yes,
bugs me because, yeah, I mean, there's a few that break out, but a lot of women are doing great work. And
isn't
movies
there,
and
like, wasn't there been like only 2 which have won Best Directing in like 95 years?
I know Greta Gerwig has. I don't know if there's a second one. If there is, I couldn't tell you who she is. But yeah.
But back to these movies. So yeah, Avatar.
Yeah,
Mike, you've seen both of them. Would you say Del Toro's Pinocchio deserved Best Picture more than Avatar 2?
yeah, 100%.
There you go. That makes me.
I have bowel movements that deserve Best Picture over Avatar 2.
Bowel move.
I could literally film one of those and put it on screen, and I'd say it was a better experience. But that's just
Mike,
me. A lot of people loved it. It's making all the money. So
Anyway, that's all I can say about Best Picture. I think it's either All Quiet on the Western Front, Everything Ever All at Once, or The Fabelmans. One of those three. I'm putting my money down. If I lose my money, I'm blaming you. I don't know why.
fair enough. What about you, Toby? What do you think will happen?
Yeah, I think, despite of what I said with Best Director, I think Everything Everywhere All at Once has actually a good shot at this. I didn't put it in this for the win at Best Director because why do I hear myself twice?
I don't know. There's an echo on the line. Somebody, I think, hasn't got
It's
their microphone.
it's probably me. I was holding the microphone a bit close.
Okay.
Okay.
This is confusing. Okay. Where were we? I think it could win this category because as an overall package, I think it's definitely probably better than The Fabelmans. Has a better shot. I think The Fabelmans really could win Best Director for the reasons I already said, but I don't think it's going to be Best Picture. All Quiet on the Western Front, I could see it, but also like the Academy has an insane bias against international movies, and like that Parasite actually won was like a fever dream, I think.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
So I think it's All Quiet on the Western Front is the underdog that could win, but I don't think is most likely to. I think the two movies that I think could get close with Everything Everywhere All at Once is The Banshees of Inisherin and actually Tar.
Yeah, fair enough. See, the only thing I'd be genuinely mad about and want to sort of throw myself off a building would be if Avatar 2 wins. And maybe Elvis, although I haven't seen it, so that's kind of unfair. I just don't like the subject matter. But I don't think like Triangle of Sadness or Women Talking have a chance because they're just not being talked about. All the rest are kind of in with a shot that I haven't mentioned. Part of me would like to see Top Gun Maverick get it for the same reasons that you touched on, Jamie, that it would just be good for a kind of 4-quadrant popular movie that's not artsy, pretentious getting it. But at the same time, that movie is 90% American military recruitment propaganda, and the entire last act is just the first Star Wars. So it would kind of be disingenuous to say it's the best film of the year. Out of them all, I kind of agree. I think it's between, from what I've heard as well, between Banshees of Inisherin and The Fabelmans. I agree with you, Toby. I think Fabelmans will get director, but not Best Picture. And I want Banshees of Inisherin to get Best Picture, so I will go with it and stick my neck out and say that it will. So why not? And Will, by the way, would have picked Top Gun Maverick, apparently, for Best Picture. So
I was surprised. I thought his favorite was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say with Will. He absolutely detests the first Star Wars movie and yet loves Top Gun Maverick, which is the same plot. So go and figure.
He just finds it mediocre.
That's fair enough, I guess. But yeah, so that just about, I think, wraps us up for talking about the Oscar noms. As I said, if you want to know what's happening with the podcast channels, we'll be around the internet in general, but we won't be fully back until towards the end of February. Rewind back to the start of the video to hear the full information all about that. And it just remains for me to say thank you to Will for joining us, however briefly, until his technology gave out on him and he left. Thanks to you to Toby for joining us all the way from Germany again.
Thanks for having me here.
That's awesome. And every win that All Quiet on the Western Front gets, I will be thinking of you and cheering for you on the actual night of the Oscars.
Which is funny because I would not be cheering.
Oh, really? Why? You didn't like it that much?
I just don't care. I just don't care I don't go, oh, it's a German movie, so I just have to applaud. Like, okay. Like I'm here for good movies. I'm not here for representing something.
I see. Oh, fair enough. I get what you're saying. It's just, yeah, it would be nice to see something from a country that you don't often see get nominated for Oscars. I think get some recognition.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
need to watch small German movies because
Yeah.
the only ones I've seen, the only German movie I've seen is Nosferatu, and that's silent.
I've seen so much German expressionism film, but I probably haven't seen anything since like 1940. So I probably should as well. But I definitely need to watch All Quiet on This.
Please watch The Lives of Others. It's insanely
Oh, okay.
good. It's
I'll
insane.
make a note.
I think it even won an Oscar for best for international film.
I have heard the name, so probably.
Film.
But, fair enough. So,
I don't know
and
if it won,
thanks.
but I think it was definitely nominated, and it's really good, and everyone should watch it. It's really, really good.
Which
There
film?
you go. That's another recommendation for you.
Which film?
What was it called, Toby?
The Lives of Others.
The Lives of Others, and that's from Germany, obviously. So
I'll look it up on that box.
Again, that's another recommendation you've got, along with all of the Oscar nominees, recommended films. We've talked about what we've seen and what we haven't. Thanks again to Toby, and thank you to Jamie for also joining us. We'll have to definitely have you back on the channel, but I know you're definitely you are penciled in to talk James Bond when the top 10 Bond movies come around. So looking forward to that. Yeah, and that's all about it. As I said, hopefully we will see you guys joining us back on here or on our sister podcast, Hit or Miss Star Trek, on the end of February onwards. Don't worry, we have kind of regular things planned from then. It's just we're taking these first sort of 7 to 8 weeks of the year off. So yeah, in the meantime, do keep on watching and enjoying movies, and to remember, in the epic words of Arnie, I'll be back.
Exactly 2 hours talking about Oscars.
Handy, eh? And end broadcast.